Hi, Amy. We are live on Rocky Mountain Oils. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? I know I'm in the cold and you're in the warm, huh?
I know I am. You know what? It's actually cold for Florida right now, so I'm bundled up. I'm enjoying that little cold front that we've got going on, but it's definitely much warmer than New York. I'm sure
Yes,
it's quite
yes.
cold. Well, while we wait for everyone to join us, today we are talking about holiday stress. And for anyone joining us right now, I get stressed during the holidays. Do you experience a lot of holiday stress, Amy?
Yes, there's always so much to do. I think that I feel like, oh, I'm going to have so much time and all this. And then it just sneaks up on you. And suddenly I feel overwhelmed when I don't
Mhm.
have enough time to finish everything that I have to. And then
Mhm.
I feel a little pressure about getting gifts, I have to admit. Like I get stressed out from that. So.
There is always some aspect of stress. I don't know if I've ever had a stress-free holiday. Maybe when I was a child and everything, you just kind of woke up Christmas morning and magic had happened, and here we are. Now I'm the mom in the situation and making the magic happen, and it's definitely more stressful. Santa has a stressful job, that's all I'm saying. Well, if you are joining us right now, I would love to know what you guys are doing for Christmas or the holidays. Put it in the comments. This year, it's my first year away from family. I'm going to be doing a picnic on the beach, which is totally new for me. What are you doing for the holidays, Amy?
Well, we're just laying low.
Hmm.
We're not really doing anything, so we're just
Keeping it
keeping it
low key
quiet. Yeah, keeping it very low key.
and intimate. And then you know what? That's so nice. Have
Yeah,
a little
that'll be
intimate
nice. I
gathering.
think we're just gonna kind of disappear for a few days, take advantage of the city emptying out and all of
Mhm.
that. So it'll be
There
good.
you go. Well, I am excited to be talking about how we can use essential oils and aromatherapy to manage the stress that we get during the holidays. Like I said before, and you were saying, there's so much stress that happens from the traveling, maybe not so much this year, but the traveling, the buying gifts, the pressure that it all brings, and maybe the guilt that you feel. We have some comments coming in from people. Let's see, we've got Chris saying that she is doing dinner with her family of four and her parents, and I think that sounds lovely. There's nothing better than a Christmas dinner. And then we've got Courtney spending it with family. Absolutely love that. I am going to miss being with my family this year for sure, but I know it'll be nice. And if you're watching, let us know what you're doing for Christmas. And also let us know if you get stressed during Christmas, if that's something that you experience, because I know it happens to me. But essential oils, this is something that we could use to manage this.
100%. They're really the best tool I know of to
Mm-hmm.
really handle any kind of emotional, psychological, or even, a crisis of faith. Literally, like essential oils have this remarkable capacity to shift our mindset. And I think in situations like this,
Mm-hmm.
where the holidays have descended and the world feels like very uncertain and
Mm-hmm.
maybe we can't get together with family we thought we would be able to, but now we're not able to. And there's all these things happening, right? Some people might be spending it alone and dealing with feelings of loneliness, or maybe this was a rough year and they're feeling loss and grief. And there's just a lot of emotions get stirred, right, Naya, during this time?
100%. I think there's so many high highs, but they can be followed by some pretty low lows in the holidays. Like you said, spending it alone, that loneliness, or if you've experienced loss, when you've lost someone close to you, the holidays are quite triggering, whether that's a grandparent, a mother, a friend. Those times when you're meant to be together, all of a sudden this season can feel quite different and
Mm-hmm.
difficult, and that can be really hard. And then but you want to experience the joy. You want to be able to experience the holidays presently and not be
Mm-hmm.
so caught up in your head with the anxiety and the stress that we get. And how do we live the holidays present? How do we become grounded and get rid of these kind of icky feelings, or at least be able to tame them down?
Mhm. Or at least to exactly, to navigate them in a way that feels healthier and that feels like it's not, you know, manifesting in a negative way in whatever way that might be. And I think
Mhm.
this is really one of the most powerful tools of using essential oils. I think as we see essential oils being talked about so much, right? And such sometimes confusing information about the proper ways of usage. I always say to everyone, the safest and the quickest and the easiest and the simplest way to really enjoy the benefits that essential oils can offer is really by smelling them. And I think that we have to just go back to those basics and remember essential oils, their real intention is to be smelled. After all, they're the aromatic extracts from plants,
Mhm.
right? We are actually removing out of the plant material their aroma. We're
Mhm.
making visible something that's very ephemeral and invisible, right? Scent. And
Mhm.
that experience of smell can have such a profound effect on our psyche, on our emotions, on how we connect to our memories. It's really quite amazing, actually.
It's absolutely incredible. And if you didn't watch our previous webinar with Amy, it was a couple months back, we talked about how essential oils work and how they affect the brain. And it really gives you great insight on why just diffusion or just a simple inhaling of aromatherapy or of essential oils through the bottle has such a profound effect on your mental, emotional, and even physical health.
Oh,
All just from
100%.
traveling to the brain, like in an instant. We're talking about faster than the speed of sound is how quickly an essential oil can work just through the smelling of them. And that's
Mhm.
incredible.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. It's actually something that I'm just always just in such full awe of how our human body is designed and how our sense of smell is actually like if you were to look at the anatomy, quote, of olfaction, right, and where our olfactory nerve endings are, and that olfactory bulb, like where the whole heart of our sense of smell is kind of gathered, it's literally sitting right behind our nasal cavity in the center of our brain. And when we smell something, okay, so when we inhale, there are aromatic molecules that are floating around all over,
Mhm.
and they kind of whiz by the back of our nose as we inhale, right? Inhale oxygen getting into our lungs. There might be some aromatic molecules kind of following along on the way, and they whiz by these exposed nerve endings from our olfactory system, olfactory nerve endings in the back of our nostrils. And when they whiz by those nerve endings, they trigger in a nanosecond. They trigger a response, kind of like a electrical neurological response
Mhm.
that then communicates to the part of our brain about how we're going to feel and then how our body is going to respond to that feeling. So, and this all happens, as you said, Naya, like in a millisecond, in a nanosecond, in
Mhm.
such a brief moment of time. So that's why you can smell something, right? And
Mhm.
before you're even conscious of it, your body is already producing the kind of chemicals and all these other kinds of you know materials in our body, like
Mhm.
different molecules and compounds, starts producing that to then make our body behave in a certain way. So if we smell something delicious before we even know that we're hungry, it triggers like this response in our digestive system to start wanting food and to accept food and to digest food. Or if we smell something that is scary, okay, whether it be smoke or the scent of something else that might be frightening or unnerving, then that will send a signal to our bodies to then prepare to run away, like tightening our muscles or making our breath more shallow or doing other things, right? So it's incredible how scent has this incredible power over our behavior and ultimately over our physiology.
And it really is quite amazing. And I think sometimes we look aside diffusion and just like how powerful it really is. And when you were talking about that olfactory to the limbic system, the limbic system is in control of our stress release. So, like, if we're going to
Mhm.
start producing the stress hormone, if we're going to feel like we need to fight or flight or freeze, which also means that we can use aromas, we can use essential oils to help calm that down and to bring us into a neutral state. So, when
100%.
we're feeling this holiday stress, what are some of the best ways that we can use essential oils to start handling maybe the ways that we manifest stress?
Well, I think we want to definitely lean into smelling them. And you
Mhm,
can smell them in a variety of different methods.
mhm,
As you said, diffusion, obviously, very simple way, right? We
mhm,
add a few essential oils to a diffuser, and we have that diffuser going on intermittently throughout the day, and that can be awesome.
mhm.
And then another great delivery is I love little roll-ons. I have like a roll-on. I carry these around with me all the time. Oh, look at you.
Yes.
You have a roll-on too.
Mhm,
These
always.
are amazing
Yeah,
tools
yeah.
because one, they're super teeny tiny. You can travel with them. They are very durable. They won't
Mhm,
break. I can't tell you how many times I've dropped this on bathroom floors, on hard floors, on cement. They're
mhm,
super durable and you don't need a lot, right? You're just kind of dabbing on pulse points. And for me, with a roll on, what I love using so I get the full olfactory experience is I'll rub it like all over here and I'll even rub it on my head and my
mhm.
scalp so I can really smell it all around me. And I find that to be incredibly soothing. And then, of course, there is inhalers,
Mhm.
right? The personal inhalers.
Yeah.
You can also just sniff it directly out of a bottle.
Mhm.
But any way that you can just enjoy smelling the oil and focusing on that, I think is really a very profound way to use it.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up roll-ons because not only do roll-ons they give you two benefits to essential oils. You're getting the diffusion, the scent going through your olfactory, but then you're also getting the topical benefits as well, getting into your bloodstream and receiving
Mhm.
the therapeutic benefits that way. And they're on the go. When you're during the holidays, most people are traveling or they're going to their family's house, they're having dinner, they're out holiday shopping or whatever, and you don't really get to sit at home and maybe have your diffuser
Right.
going, and you can simply bring it with you wherever you go, and then you have it in minutes, and I love that.
Mhm. Oh,
So,
yeah, they're terrific. And
yeah.
what I love is that they are very discreet, to be honest.
Mhm,
And I know that we talked a little bit about stress. And one thing that I find when we go home, let's say we're
mhm,
all going home,
mhm,
right, is that we, have emotional triggers sometimes with the people that we love or grew up with or whatever it might be. And I think that if we can be present and prepare and know, okay, look, I'm going to go home or I'm going to go to this person's house and this might be triggered, whatever. The having a roll on handy is a great way to kind of retrain your response to an external circumstance. And that's another way that we can really kind of leverage the power of aroma because part of the limbic system is also uh, very connected and kind of engulfed by the part of our limbic system that creates memory and
mhm,
also houses learned behavior. So certain emotional responses are actually learned responses, right? So like
mhm.
every time you go to this person's house, you feel anxiety, right? Well, that's a
Mhm.
learned memory, right? That
It's like
maybe
when you
happened.
feel anxiety before you even get there because
Exactly.
you have a feeling that it's gonna happen because it's happened so many times before, it's now learned.
Exactly.
It's a habit at that point of your emotional response.
Exactly. So this is where a roll on is super powerful. So, okay, every time I'm feeling anxious, about
Mhm.
going to this family gathering. I
Mhm.
don't want to feel anxious the whole time. So what I'm going to do is every time I feel that feeling coming up, and get my handy roll on, put it on my areas, smell it, and remind myself that I can shift my response to the experience, that I can decide and make a choice not to respond that way. And I know that's a super hard thing to do, but I have found using essential oils to help me kind of redirect my response has been incredibly helpful in my life.
Yeah, and I think one is it's so true that we are in control, or we have the option to be in control of how we respond, how we
Mhm.
feel. Yes, there are outside forces that we can't control, but we have the opportunity to decide how we're going to respond and what actions we're going to take. And if you don't want to feel a certain way, there's options for you. If
Mhm.
you're watching right now, I would love for you to comment with, how do you feel stressed during the holidays? For me, I feel the guilt of, the pressure of like what you're supposed to be doing, or, this preconceived notion that I am not doing enough. And then it's also just like very tired, like chronically fatigued. I guess I shouldn't say chronic, but I feel very tired all the time because I'm an overload. So, what are ways that we can use essential oils to help with some of those more physical aspects of stress?
Oh, 100%. And emotional stress, psychological stress, whatever it might be, existential stress, whatever it might
Mhm,
be, can all manifest itself physically. And often it does, right?
mhm,
And, for some people, for me, I hold all my stress in my gut. Okay. That's where I feel it, like in my
mhm,
stomach. So
mhm,
for me, when I know something's going to happen or whatever, I immediately affects my, digestion, my stomach, all of that. So for me, I have used essential oils and I have made little like belly rubs, for example, or I've even used a roll on actually,
mhm,
and I'll rub it right on my belly before I know that I might have that response so it doesn't manifest that way. And I know other people who get horrible migraines or terrible headaches, or other people where the stress then kind of manifests itself physically in tight tension in the body from, muscle spasms, muscle aches, those kinds of things. So there's all sorts of ways depending
mhm.
on kind of who we are, our physiology, etc., how all of us manifest stress differently physically. And essential oils, whether we want to create like a quick DIY massage oil or put together an aromatic bath at night, or use a diffuser, or a roll on or something like that, is I think that there's lots of ways we can use the essential oils to help with realigning those imbalances that happen and manifest because we're feeling anxious or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and we have Debbie joining in, and one of the things that she's saying she feels when she's stressed during the holidays is overwhelmed. And I can totally agree. I think there's so much going on. I totally understand why you would feel overwhelmed. And then tension in the neck and shoulders. And that's something very common. We hold all that
Oh
stress
yeah,
like right
totally.
here. And there are so many different essential oils that we can use even for pain and stress, pain and tension as well. And then we have
Mhm.
Chris timing in. All right, let me see, move my computer. She said, very anxious that the meal is not good enough and that the house is not clean enough. And
Oh.
you know what? I feel that way, Chris. There's this notion that you're not doing enough. And I think women feel that all the time
Oh,
because we
100%.
are typically hosting. You're either the mom or you're the aunt, or, you have all of this pressure, and it just comes to a peak during the holiday season. And
Mhm.
I'm so sorry that you feel not enough, that you're not doing enough, because 100% I know that you are. So I hope that you take that to heart. But what essential oils can we use? Which ones are the
Oh,
best ones for us, Amy? Give us the good stuff. You've
okay.
been an aromatherapist for 20 years, so all the best
Okay.
tools.
Well, I think There's several that I think are wonderful. And I'm thinking of you, Chris, specifically right now, of what would be lovely for you to use. And the ones that are coming up for me, for you, in that feeling of not enough and the pressure and the overwhelm, is I would look at oils like sandalwood. Sandalwood essential oil. I would look at the chamomiles like Roman chamomile, German chamomile. I would look at blue tansy. I would look at ylang ylang. So and lavender. And so what I'm reaching for, if you can tell, are oils that are steam distilled from flowers. And flowers have this really beautiful poetry of really soothing and calming and supporting our heart energy. And I think as women, as nurturers, and we're trying to put the house together, we're trying to make everyone feel comfortable, we're trying to do all of this, is that what we find is that we're giving and we're giving and we're caring and we're caring. And we need to put some of that back for ourselves and to support ourselves. And in that instance, I'm always reaching for flower oils. I chose sandalwood because sandalwood has such a deep, rich history of ceremony, of ritual practice, of introspection, self-reflection, of self-love, along also with cedarwood. Cedarwood also has a rich tradition of kind of meditation and inner work. As does frankincense. That's another good oil I would think of, and that would be another one on my list. So those oils, where the flower oils, I think, could be very nurturing for the heart energy, very supportive, almost like you're getting a little hug, and that you're enough, and and they're also, I think, ones that make us feel as women just loved and beautiful and supported. And then looking at those more oils from woods and resins to kind of ground us and make us feel resilient and strong and centered and I don't know, and just stable, really, in a time when maybe we might feel a little
And
off.
present. It allows you to come back into the here and now.
Exactly.
And enjoy the holidays
100%.
for what they are supposed to be. I think one of the most powerful ways of letting go of this stress or managing it is that then you get to experience life the way it's meant to be experienced. You get to notice the little things around you instead of worrying if everyone is enjoying their food. What you're able to do is actually see the smile when they eat the pasta that you made, or they're drinking the drink that you put your heart into, and you get to notice like those crinkles around their eyes, and it allows you to really soak up those moments that really make life so special. And when we get into that headspace of stress and anxiety and this overwhelm, we miss all of those beautiful moments happening right in front of us. And I absolutely love all of those oils. What I was thinking when you were mentioning ylang ylang and chamomile and blue tansy and lavender is my favorite blend. And if you've listened to any of these webinars before, you know that it's tranquility. I keep it everywhere. Like I have so many bottles of it all around my house, in every purse, every car. And it has all of those oils in it. And it really truly works so quickly for me to just have a moment of peace and tranquility. And it's aptly named. But it also allows you to really sleep and find that relaxation if you're experiencing that insomnia that sometimes happens with stress and keeping you up at night.
Oh, 100%. And I want to just comment more because I love how you brought up this idea of being present, and being present is so important because I think when we're stressed, it's almost like an out of body experience, right? That we're doing all these crazy loops in our mind, or don't feel like we're grounded and together. And I just want to remind everyone that when you take that minute to smell something, you are immediately being present automatically. And that if you can just really exercise that experience of paying attention to the aroma and how it makes you feel, it will immediately bring you to that place that Naya talked about of being present. And that's just another great tool, I think, smelling essential oils, is to bring us back into the present moment.
And quickly and easy, and there's no fuss. Um,
You know?
like it's the easiest way to use them, and I think that's, it's probably really the main way that I use essential oils. But I
Mhm.
wanted to go into Debbie's comment. So she's experiencing, tension in the neck and shoulders. So she's having
Mhm.
a physical symptom to her stress. What are some of your favorite oils to use for that symptom?
Yeah. So for tense muscles, especially for tension in my upper back and shoulders, which I also deal with a lot,
Mhm,
I find actually that peppermint essential oil combined, I never use peppermint alone. I find it too strong,
mhm,
and it also could be irritating to the skin if you ever just have it alone on its own and it accidentally gets on you. So I'm always blending
mhm,
peppermint down.
mhm,
And I find it for pain relief and for aches and that kind of thing, and for tension relief in the muscles. Lavender is wonderful with it. I've also used chamomiles. I know we just talked about the chamomiles, but that can also be very relaxing. I would say Roman chamomile over the German chamomile has more of an antispasmodic, like muscle releasing aspect to it. And I also find the spruces really nice, like some of the conifers, but
mhm,
the spruces are quite nice for that as well. And mostly because I find when I'm tense in my shoulders and neck that I'm also not fully breathing.
mhm,
Obviously, think about it. Like when we're not breathing shallowly, I feel our shoulders creep up higher and higher and higher. And when we're able to take a deeper breath, like we're able to let our shoulders fall. And there's nothing that I can imagine more powerful than using conifer or needle tree oils to really give me that sense of a relaxed breathing. And so I would definitely look into some of the spruces. I would look into lavender and peppermint. And then frankincense also can have a really nice effect of easing muscle tension as well.
Yeah, and I was going to say my personal favorite too is blue tansy. You have to be careful because it is a deep blue. It can definitely stain some stuff, but it really works great on sore muscles and like those tensions, while you're also getting the relaxation and the stress relieving properties
Mhm.
of blue tansy. And like you said, kind of letting go and breathing, because we do this all the time. Like when we're stressed, or you curl in,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then all of a sudden you've lost your
totally.
posture. And so being able to open up your chest, one, automatically gives you this sense of confidence and strength, but also you start to let those muscles relax and you release
Mhm.
that tension.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we only have a couple more minutes. So, anyone who's watching, I would love for you to drop any questions that you may have for Amy. But, Amy, let me know what else, what are your other favorite oils? We talked about pain, we talked about the overwhelm, but you talked a little bit before about digestion issues that you get with
Mhm.
stress. What are your go to oils for if that's the type of symptom you get?
Yeah, because my belly is so responsive to my emotional stress, I actually use a lot of blue tansy on my belly rubs. That's
Hmm.
one of my main ones that I like.
Hmm.
But I would say other oils that are really nice for that. I find ginger is really soothing. I've also used, let's see, geranium, I have found very calming. Clary sage, I have found very calming. Um, let's see here. I'm trying to think of another belly rub that I've used. Oh, I can't believe I forgot these two. These are really my favorite. There's three that I love. Coriander seed is
Okay.
particularly powerful. So what I do is I blend coriander seed with a little bit of lavender and then maybe some blue tansy or a citrus like bergamot or something.
Mhm.
And I find that incredibly quieting to my belly. Coriander is really nice with ginger also. And then I might do a little sweet orange with that. So those are the kinds of oils that I use. Mostly I'm trying to just uh, get some movement going so it doesn't just feel so tight and jammed up.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for citrus oils. I find encourage flow of energy, oils that are steam distilled from seeds, like coriander seed, for example. Fennel seed is another really nice
Mhm.
one. Um, but what's cool about coriander is it has certain compounds, molecules that are also found in lavender and bergamot, which make those two oils super relaxing. So it does have that in it.
And I love bergamot. We didn't touch a lot on the citrus oils. And citrus oils, typically people think of energy, right, and mood
Mhm.
uplifting, but citrus oils actually are very powerful for relaxing your state of mind. Even orange can be used as an oil to help you sleep. So something that you think
Oh,
of as
yeah.
like in the morning, like I have a cup of orange juice, it's like wakes you up for the day. Sweet orange has an incredible property that helps you and your little ones fall asleep and actually be able to stay asleep. It's one of my favorites to diffuse at night. I do like lavender with it, but
Mhm.
bergamot is another beautifully citrus oil that is does wonders on the mood and relaxation. So I love that you
Mhm.
brought that up. It's one of my all-time favorite oils actually, and it's so
Oh, yeah.
versatile. The citrus oils, I mean, I swear they do everything. They're like the Swiss Army knife. You can like get goo off of like sticky labels. You can like uplift your mood. You can relax yourself. I mean, I use bergamot to get clear elastics out of my daughter's hair. Like they're
Oh
so
my
versatile.
God.
I know that's a whole different tangent, but I love the citrus oils and the properties that they have for stress.
Oh, they're fantastic. Because, a lot of stress also like gets us down, kind of
Hmm.
depresses us, right?
Yeah.
No one enjoys being stressed out. So, what I love about the citruses is that they're magic when it comes to like making you see, the world with the glass half full rather than half empty and realizing, you know, the citruses also for me represent gratitude and abundance and all of that. It's just like a mindset shift, right? And
Hmm.
it's so simple to do just by sniffing them. So I agree.
Absolutely. I do love the aroma that they give, but also like you said, that abundance, that gratitude, and that is something that we're looking for and we desire, especially during this time of year, during the holidays. Um, it can be hard to find gratitude when we are stuck in stress. And so I
Mhm.
hope that this webinar has opened up some ideas on how you can use essential oils very easily and pretty much any oil that like there's so many different oils that you can use. You probably have a couple different options at your home so that you can have a present and mindful holiday. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. You've put so much work into what the holiday is going to look like, whether it's small, big, you're traveling, you're staying home, whatever it is. Work has been put into it, and now it's time to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah.
And really, it can be any oil, as what Naya said. I just wanted to say that any oil, the aroma that brings you pleasure, whatever it might be, anything that we smell that brings pleasure to us is going to trigger the relaxation response. So it really can be anything that gives you pleasure is going to make you feel better. So.
I love that. And I
Mhm.
think that concludes our webinar for today. Amy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Everyone watching, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas or holiday or whatever you guys are celebrating. We have the new year. The next time we'll be doing a webinar will be 2022. And that is just wild to me. This year has
I
flown
know.
by.
I
So,
know.
Amy, is there anything you would like to share before we head out?
No, I think it was great. Thank you so much for having me back, Naya. It's always just so fun talking to you with you about essential oils and aromatherapy and all of that. So I really am grateful. Thank you. And have a happy holiday. Have a great, great holiday weekend. Okay.
Well, thank you. You too. Enjoy the cold weather and good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.